Testing, testing, testing. One, two, three. Good morning, honey. How do y'all do it? I can't. How do y'all get up early in the morning? I still got my morning face. Got up, got in the shower, brushed teeth, and I still have my coffee. But I said that I wanted to try doing podcast talk on the weekday in the morning. We're gonna see how this go. Actually, no, I am going to keep it in the morning. I'm just not going to always do a live because I just thought about it today. It's better for me to do a premiere, upload and premiere it. You get out in the algorithm more, you get more viewerships, you get more subscribers, more money, yada, yada, yada. Good morning, Jane or Jan. Good morning, TJ. TJ, you have to stop with the cryptic messages. It's getting weird. It's getting weird. All right. So listen, I have a good show today. This is not going to be long. However, it's breaking news. Kamala Harris chose her VP, her running mate, VP running mate, Tim Walz out of Minnesota. Who is he and why do we care? That was a horrible pick. He's a nobody. He's a governor from a state that's not even one of the key states to win an election. This is how I know she's not going to win. She's not going to win. That wasn't even strategic. Sister T, Denise, good morning, guys. So I want to get into that first, and then I'm going to do a recap. Shout out to Savvy Sabs. I'll put at her. It's in the description. So last week, Thursday, she invited me onto a panel, and she called it the Black Voters Panel. Black people from different backgrounds, different political ideologies to come and talk about immigration, policing, reparations, the economy, the election, because Black people are not a monolith and we're not. And the panel proved it. Great panel. Yes, it got spicy, but that's what makes it entertaining and interesting. I don't have nothing bad to say about nobody on that panel. And that's what I really appreciate and respect the most is the fact that, yes, we disagreed, cutting each other off or whatever, get a little snippy. But I have respect for everybody that was on that panel. You didn't have to call it names or be disrespectful. I know I wasn't disrespectful. I don't want to be disrespected, but I am going to push back, and some people push back at me, and that's fine. So I'm not going to review because she took that clip and she premiered it, and it's like an hour or something. I'm not reviewing the video. I'm going to review the Twitter video she uploaded. It's about 5 minutes, and it was me talking about the impact that the illegal migrant crisis specifically is having on Black America. So that's what I'm going to review. Go to her channel, and you can watch the whole hour of the panel discussion, which is great. Good morning, Sharon from Vegas. It's 7th. Oh, damn. That's what I'm saying. How do you people get up early in the morning? How do you do that? I don't think I'm normal. Maybe you are normal. I remember, I used to get up when I worked in corporate, got to get up early to go to work. I hated doing that. But I got myself in a routine. Okay, 10 o'clock any other day. I'm just getting started. Like, yes, I have my coffee. I'm drinking my coffee and I'm going through news stuff. But I said, you know what? I need to get up earlier. Sometimes I'm just rolling out the bed at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But it's like, let me get up early so I could go through the miscellaneous things early in the morning. Go through the miscellaneous things early in the morning. And I kind of could structure my day out, right? But I have to go to bed by midnight, 1 a.m. But it's it's a challenge. I am in the morning is best for the most part. And then the reason why I want to train myself to get up early so I could get to my 10 a.m. workout class. It's like twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. I do feel better getting up early and working out. The problem is, and the hard part for me is actually getting out the bed. That's the hardest part, getting out that bed. But with that said, let's get into the breaking news topic. Actually, I'm not going to share it like that. I want to share it. I'm going to go here. Yeah. I like the New York Post. I love their headlines, right? Veep Stakes winner. I don't think so. Kamala Harris chooses her running mate for the 2024 presidential election. Who is this guy? Chooses Minnesota governor. I don't like this. Why are these damn ads? Tim Walz as a running mate. Vice President Kamala Harris has chosen Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her 2024 running mate Tuesday, after replacing President Biden as the Democrat Party's presidential candidate. Harris is expected to make an announcement to supporters before the duo appear for the first time together in a campaign event in Philadelphia on Tuesday. See, a lot of people thought that she was going to pick Pennsylvania governor, but she picked the governor out of Minnesota. Why didn't she pick the Pennsylvania governor? Pennsylvania is a battle state. That is a key state to win the election. 4 people close to the process told CNN. Members of Harris' team, actually, let me make this a little bit bigger. Members of Harris' team were dispatched to the Minnesota governor's mansion to congratulate him and fly with him to Philadelphia for the rally. Harris became increasingly comfortable with Walz during the final days of vetting process and was particularly impressed by his happy-go-lucky attitude. That's the problem. Walz spent 24 years in the Army National Guard and then a decade in the U.S. House of Representatives, serving a largely rural district in southern Minnesota before running for governor in 2018. After news of the choice broke, conservatives accused Democrats of putting the most radical far-left ticket yet in front of American voters. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis called Walz's selection the most left-wing ticket in American history and accused his Minnesota counterpart of not doing enough to stem violence during the 2020 protests in his state over the killing of George Floyd. So we all remember George Floyd. He was killed in Minnesota. Minneapolis, Minnesota, to be exact. Walz sat back and let Minneapolis burn. Yes, he did. Walz caught flack at a time from the left after Minnesota Mayor Jacob Frey said the governor was too slow in deploying National Guard to quell widespread riots in the city, which suffered $500 million in property damage and looting after the death of Floyd. Critics also point out that Walz's first official move as Minnesota's governor was launching a statewide diversity, equity, and inclusion commission, which he renewed after being reelected in 2022. I'm going to have to do a whole nother video on DEI because they always want to create something and just put a name to it. Also, he has been slammed with his botched response during the COVID-19 pandemic, which included wasting more than $5 million in state funds to purchase a refrigerated warehouse for potential morgue that remained vacant, and permitted $250 million scheme that defrauded the federal government of COVID stimulus dollars and exploited poor children. Oh, they're going to have a field day with this guy. Because you know why? You know why a refrigerated warehouse and it was empty? Because it wasn't a lot of people dying. It wasn't a lot of people dying. They're going to have a field day with him. As Harris' campaign surrogate, he has played the loyal foot soldier by attacking Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance as out of touch with middle America and far too socially conservative. Actually, me personally, I could relate to J.D. Vance, his background more than this guy, or his resume more than this guy. The Republicans and Trump, they're going to have a field day with him. Oh, they're going to pick him apart just on a COVID pandemic alone. Democrats, however, hope that Walz will bring more centrist image to the 2024 ticket after having won his gubernatorial election by double digits, with even more votes in more counties than Hillary Clinton did in the state during the 2016 presidential election. Harris had to choose her number 2 quickly after the DNC adopted rules enforcing a virtual roll call vote to appoint the president and vice president nominee in the first week of August. She was reported to have fired off vetting materials just days after Biden suspended his presidential campaign. In the days leading up to the announcement, Harris has zeroed in on a trio of potential finalists: Pennsylvania Governor, like I said, Josh Shapiro, and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. She would have did better with either the governor of Pennsylvania or the senator out of Arizona. She would have did better. This is how I know she's not serious. They know they're not going to win. They are lying about the polls, being neck to neck with Donald Trump. They are lying about her media perception. They're lying about her record. She is a failed board czar. She is a failed VP. She is the worst VP in American history with the lowest polls ever. She's not going to be president. I don't care how many divine nines out there canvassing. She's not going to be president. Others believed to be on her early vetting list: North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, Michigan Governor Whitmer, and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. She would have did better with the governor of Pennsylvania and with the senator of Arizona. And the only reason that I could come up with and why this woman did not select them, they must have some dirty dirt. They must have some serious dirt, because vetting is not the typical vetting. When we're talking about the White House, the Oval Office, even Congress, and even the Supreme Court, honey, they put that microscope all the way up in your in your intestines, all up in the colon. They go back not only to the day you were conceived, they go back to your parents and their parents' conception. So, and then a lot of times they don't have to go back that far to find your dirt. If you ever watch the show House of Cards, I'm actually going to go back and start rewatching the whole series from the beginning. And the way they vetted that the House representative out of Pennsylvania, these people do a lot of demonic things behind closed doors, because for the life of me, you would not pick Senator Kelly out of Arizona. Mind you, his wife, I believe, wasn't she the one who died when she was canvassing and she was doing a town hall and at a local town hall in Arizona, and a shooter came in there and shot her in the head? She didn't die. She recovered from it. But I think that's her husband, I think. Either way, Senator Kelly is like a national treasure. Like, he's well respected with Americans. And then you have the governor of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a battle state. But Minnesota, let's see. How many elector votes in Minnesota? Electoral votes in Minnesota. Ten. The state of Minnesota has 10 electoral votes in the electoral college. Let's go to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has 19 electoral votes So you picked Minnesota over Pennsylvania? They've been trying to turn Arizona blue for a while. Let's see, Arizona. Mm-mm. 11. So Minnesota has 10, Arizona has 11, Pennsylvania has 19 electoral college votes. But you go with Minnesota. Who cares about Minnesota? I think Minnesota always turns blue. Who knows? Who cares? That never determines the presidency. So this is how I know it's not serious. It is not serious at all. Yes, that's Ilhan Omar, her state. Yeah, yeah. Oh, and Ilhan Omar, she loves open borders. She loves to fly in her people from Somalia. Yeah, I think it's a connection there. I think it's a strong connection. Tim Walz is crazy. He made his state a sanctuary state for trans kids. Oh, okay. The plot thickens. See, this just hit at 10 a.m. Actually, at 9:30, it just made headlines that she picked him. So I don't have time to dig up all the dirt, but thank you guys. Okay. He's trash. You talk about transgender sanctuary, illegal migrant sanctuary, right? Defrauding the government with pandemic funding, liberal, blue, all that. Big BLM. Yeah. But that's part of the Democrat agenda because Kamala Harris is the most leftist radical politician ever. Everyone says that. Everyone knows that. Minnesota matters and Wisconsin determined the election last time. Yeah, but see, okay, Minnesota matters. Wisconsin does matter more than Minnesota. But it only matters, like you said, it determined the last election because the other key states, Florida, Georgia, Ohio, North Carolina, those battle states were kind of already claimed or flipped, and it wasn't supposed to. So then you go to, okay, yeah, Minnesota and maybe and Wisconsin and maybe Minnesota. But I'm talking about a fair election. No, Minnesota or Wisconsin do not determine the election. And on top of that, because she chose him, see, she didn't have to choose him. If you want to choose a candidate that is most likely to bring you more electoral college votes, especially when it's a key state like Pennsylvania that could flip red or blue. The same with North Carolina, the same with Ohio. So Trump picked JD Vance. He's a senator from Ohio. It's very important. Now, Ohio, especially in Cleveland, is blue. It's kind of liberal. But the state, when you go to that state capital, the state assembly is dominated by Republicans. So you're talking about battleground states. Minnesota is not that. And this is so the point I'm trying to make is not saying they don't matter to a certain degree, but I know they're not serious unless she had to pick someone that was going to be completely on her underhanded agenda, which goes against the family because she wants to incorporate all this other sick shit into society. God bless. I don't hate your guts. Where you come from? Yes, Georgia versus Pennsylvania vary each other or no. Yeah. Yes. You saying, honey. Kamala Harris, even the Biden administration, the Democrat Party, their ultimate agenda is really the downfall of America. When you bring in overwhelmingly too many illegals into a country, it weakens that country. When you put yourself in multiple wars, right? That basically you won't be able to fund or win, sort of say, that weakens your country. Have we not learned anything from the Vietnam War? When you are replacing a family with transgender, same sex, or gender fluid or gender free gender free agenda, when you are stripping parents away from their parental rights with their kids, that is a problem. So her agenda, when I say is demonic, it is to weaken and destroy this nation. This is still the most powerful nation in the world that we have a privilege to be born in this day and age. And I want to keep it that way. Which is going to bring me into the next topic of the panel. Minnesota has not voted Republican since Nixon. It is no fear of going red at all, I feel. Yeah. So why didn't she pick someone from a state that could be possibly red but flip it blue, or have more electoral college votes? Battle states. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you want to be strategic about your selection process, because it is a popularity contest, and it is about, okay, what can that person state? How can that person support our campaign? How can that person state bring us more votes? I just don't get it. I just don't get it with the only thing I could come up with why she picked this man is because he is just as radical as she is. And their agenda is, like the other person put in the chat, they want to make this whole country a sanctuary for transgender, a transgender society, amongst other stuff. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So, how he's 60 years old. So, he's the same age as Kamala. He's not old, but he's not young. Probably a long time politician. So I need to get more dirt on him. What policies and laws has he passed in Minnesota? It's crazy. She's crash and burns. Yes, women over men in society. That's the stories of black men at will. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here go my email. Let me put this before I get into the video. Dana, give me your email. I got info for you to interview my girl. Okay, I had a Bible study Sunday and I did not. All right, so thank you, Shamika. So my email is danawiththedata@gmail.com. Danawiththedata@gmail.com. Oh, why did I take it off the screen? Wait a minute, let me leave it up. What I'm doing? Doing too much. Here I go. So it's going across the screen now, and I'm gonna leave it there. So danawiththedata@gmail.com. Let me know if you got it, Shamika. So, all right. So listen, we're gonna be talking more about Governor Tim Walz, Sonny. Oh, um, they have a rally tomorrow in Pennsylvania. Or is it today? I'll probably be on this channel streaming it live and talking mess. So speaking of migrants, well, illegal migrants, he doesn't even look like a true VP. Ugh, I don't know.
citizen.
Okay. All right. So this is what I want to get to. Okay, about to send the info now. Thank you, Shamika. Appreciate you. Her VP looks like, yes, he does. All right. So this clip is 5 minutes and 21 seconds. I'll probably pay half, stop, speak, blah, 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 do all that. But anyway, so this was the panel on Sabby Sab's YouTube channel. I like her channel. I've been watching her for over a year now, and to see it grow, right? She talks about politics. Very nice woman. So like I said, I add her in the description. You can watch the full panel discussion on her channel at Sabby Sabs. I just want to focus on this clip because the panel discussion was like an hour and I don't want to break down that whole thing. But I want to zoom in on here because this is me being highlighted, honey. Black voter panel on immigration and the economy. The immigration topic got a little heated, but people need to see that Black voters are not a monolith. Here is OG Colin, the real Dana, and Nico. And shout out to these people. Much respect to them. I think I need to make myself probably a little bit smaller. I'll go there. All right, so here we go. So this was the beginning of the immigration talk. And I was talking about the illegal migrant crisis. Colin, he is an immigrant. And in the beginning of this clip here, I was asking Colin, did he come here legally or illegally? And then it, expanded from there.
I came here legally.
Okay.
I had a green card and I'm now a citizen.
Okay. And I don't have a problem with that. But I do have a problem with someone who comes here illegally crossing that border, and they get housing, they get health care, they get jobs, they get education, right? And they just walked across that border yesterday, as opposed to people who are still waiting for their green card, filled out their paperwork.
They don't just walk. I'm sorry. They don't just walk. It's under duress.
They walk or they swim. I'm talking about the border. But before this mass illegal migrant crisis, our immigration system was already shot. It was already a hot mess because you had people waiting for their green cards, waiting for their citizenship or their residency for decades. So you walk over a border and you just get all of these resources that, number one, should have been allocated specifically to Americans, more specific to Black Americans. So we already have DACA, we already have anchor babies, we already have refugees, we already have the HB visas, right? So we accept all those. But I'm not going to sit up here and say, and this is not personal to an individual group of people, because people want to do what they got to do to quote unquote survive or get a better life. But what I'm saying is, as far as the policy and the politicians and this administration, I have a problem when you allow over 10 million illegals to just walk across a border. I'm not talking about the ones that fly in, because that's a problem too. And you're getting all of these resources, billions of dollars, but then you say to American people, you got to pay more taxes and we can't pay you more money. So that's a problem. So I'm not going to sit up here and I really don't care about the foreign policies that's happening in other countries, because what's happening that has been happening to Black Americans here for decades and centuries. See, we didn't just jump up and leave and go to another country or immigrate to another country. We stood here and we fought. So wherever you are in your country, why don't you stand up and fight for your rights?
I will say, Dana, I will say this.
So I want to pause it right there. So that was me talking about my pushback of, why I am against the open borders. And we do have open borders. We have over 10 million. If you Google it, they're going to say over 3 or 2 to 3 million. No, it's 10 million, right? Because they're always going to downplay the actual number. And they're going to these sanctuary cities, New York City and Chicago. Let's just focus on those two cities. is a problem. Why is it a problem? Because all of these people are trying to claim to be asylum seekers, which is BS. Because in order to be asylum seekers, you have to qualify, and it's usually because you have a war-torn country or economic collapse or something. However, United States, we only allow, I believe, 500,000 asylum seekers annually. I believe it's 500,000. Not 10 million, not 1 million, not 2 million, not 3 million. No more than 500,000. And it's probably a little bit less than that. Maybe it's 250. But you have an administration, they are the ones who are supposed to be controlling the border. And this got heated because several people on this panel were immigrants or second generation immigrants or whatever. So I get the sentiment. At the same time, I don't care, because we do have a system here. We do have rules and regulations. You are breaking the law. But apparently, when we're talking about the Biden administration, they have zero regards for the law, federal and state. Because not only are they not turning them back, sending them back, arresting them, detaining them, like Trump did when he set up camp at the border, and they tried to say, oh, it's a detention center, blah, 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 separating families. They're not doing that. If they do detain them, they let them go with a train card, bus card, or airline ticket. Train ticket, bus ticket, or airline ticket to go to a sanctuary city. And then what the federal government is doing is allocating billions of dollars to each of these sanctuary cities, such as Chicago and New York. They are being placed in the poor areas, which is predominantly Black. And you are giving them housing, giving them work permits, giving them driver's license, giving them health care, giving the kids education, putting the kids in the school with the regular American kids without even medical examinations, because now they have a measles breakout in Chicago. But you got to pay for all this, billions of dollars. And then the state allocated, specifically in the state of Illinois, $150 million in 1 quarter in 2023. So all of these resources, all of this funding, all of these initiatives that they are investing in illegals that came here breaking a goddamn law, from specifically the ones crossing the border. Not the ones flown in from Ukraine or Afghanistan, because those were the asylum seekers. The ones crossing the border, not being vetted. And of course, it had to be a lot of terrorists floating in, a lot of human trafficking, drug mules, all that. So my stance was, no matter what is going on in foreign policy, and no matter what is going on anywhere else around the world, it is still going to continue to go on. However, why are we funding illegals to stay here? And you are not allocating resources and initiatives and public policies to the American people. What about the poor people here? What about the homeless people here? The same funding and resources and initiatives and public policies that you are creating for illegals, you should be creating for American citizens. That is a problem. So when I say I didn't care about foreign policy, no, I don't care, because we have money to take care of our own. Why should I care what is happening across the street when I'm starving over here? So this is the part where Colin comes in to try and deflect and take it to Israel.
I will say this: if you care about your life, especially with us, and I know Sabi's going to get into this as far as policing, when you or someone that you know who is Black is beat up from the cops, that's Israel, baby. So you should be a little bit. So I would suggest you are a little bit more aware of foreign policy
Wait,
and how
what
that
does
affects.
Israel have to do with police brutality against Black Americans?
Go ahead, tell her, Colin. Go ahead, tell her. Go ahead, tell her. Go ahead, burst her bubble.
If I could, I got two quick questions for Colin whenever y'all finish this.
I'm not going to.
1 second.
One thing, what we are, this panel is not going to do, or anybody else is not going to do. You're not going to sit up here and say, okay, only the Israelis are the ones that always put.
No. That's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying.
No,
That's
no.
not what he's saying.
All right, so
Go
then
ahead, tell her, Colin.
Yeah, no. I don't need for you to tell me anything because you're not understanding what I'm saying.
I'm hearing
we
what
understand
you're,
what you're saying.
I'm
You're not
hearing
understanding
what
what
you're
he's
saying loud
saying.
and clear, but you're making it. But you're kind of describing to what I just said in terms of you are kind of dismissive of the idea that our foreign policy is connected to your situation right now as a Black person here.
So let me pause it right there because I'm not stupid. And that was too much of a stretch. You're trying to prove me wrong. You're trying to make a case. So you're trying to give an excuse to the 10 million illegals coming here by saying, oh, it's the reason why they're coming here is because of foreign policy. And the foreign policy is Israel, because he brought up Israel, which has nothing to do with why illegals are crossing the border. Later on in the conversation, which is not in this clip, he brought up, well, we go to other countries and mess up their government, or start wars, and those people have to flee, so they're going to come here. That's BS. That's BS. Because you're talking about within 2 to 3 years, 10 million people crossing that border. It is because this government here, domestic policies, it was strategically and intentionally done to allow whoever wanted to come here for whatever reason to come here so that the Democrats could have more bodies in states, particularly blue states with sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, so that they could have more bodies so that they could accumulate more political power so that they can stay in power, number one, in Congress, and then maybe the White House. Because if you have more bodies in the city of Chicago or in New York, and then you have more bodies in that state, that means your party get more delegates. The more people you have in different cities and sections, the more political representation that particular party is allotted. And the more political representation that you have in a city, in a county, in a state, then the more political power and a more political presence you will have for your particular party, the Democrats, in Congress and votes. Because they do want them to be able to vote locally and federally. So it was a domestic policy strategy that the Biden administration executed. It had nothing to do with foreign policies, maybe to the fact that it is a supply shortage. It is a work shortage, but that is because these corporations and manufacturing companies don't want to pay Americans a decent wage. So they get cheap labor coming in. So they were sending jobs overseas. Okay, well, the administration want us to keep jobs here, but we don't want to pay the Americans a living wage because then that's more money. And then we have to pay them not only a salary, but we have to pay them insurance because that's double. So it's $50,000 for a salary, but then if I have to give them insurance, that's going to be another $50,000. That's $100,000 for one person. As opposed, if you bring illegals in, I don't got to pay them no salary. Damn sure I don't got to give them no benefits. I could pay them $10,000 a year. And then the state and the federal government is going to supplement everything else, which means private corporations, private entities are going to get those government, state, and federal contracts to supplement for healthcare, for housing, for education, for all these things. It is a cycle. It is a domestic policy, not a foreign one. Because if 10 million people, let's just say if it was really 3 million, even if 3 million people, if it was only 3 million people, you mean to tell me that we were in all these different countries throughout the world tearing shit up, which is why these people are coming here? No, they're coming here because they want to make money. They want the freedoms that we have. They want to take advantage of the system that we created. It is a privilege. But these people are breaking the law. But you want me to sit up here and believe. Then he brings up police brutality is a result of, I guess you would call it the Mossad of the Israel police. Israelis did not train the police department here. Now, if you go to the Jewish community in the section in Brooklyn, they do have their own police department policing their community. But when we talk about police brutality here in America, it didn't start with the state of Israel training police officers. That started during slavery and intensified during Reconstruction and Jim Crow, and even to today. And this is the problem I have when you do have immigrants that come here that don't know shit about our history. And then I caught what he said. He kept saying, you people, you Black Americans, they separate themselves from us. The Black immigrants literally separate themselves from Black Americans because then we become you. Well, you guys. I'm just here to help you guys. I don't need your help. I don't need your support. Yes, Papa, this is alive. So I want to finish playing the rest of this clip.
And I'm telling you, as someone who has lived here, who has lived among the community, who is fighting for you in your community here, to watch what's happening around the world. Because how is it held that we're able to give Israel like millions of dollars towards their education, universal health care, and we don't have that shit here? Explain that to me.
Yeah,
hold on, Colin, you ain't tell her the best part.
Wait a minute, hold on. We've been given
Dana,
Nico.
hold on. I gotta interrupt.
In the state of Israel,
I gotta interrupt. I gotta interrupt.
I'm not pushing against you as far as us giving all this money to the state of Israel. We purposely want Israel to be, when I say we, the American government, you have to look at where is Israel situated, the state of Israel. That is for a reason. So a reason that we will never have any control over of changing or reversing back. So yes, America gives them billions of dollars annually. That's not going to stop. But what I can say is,
and why shouldn't it stop? Why shouldn't it stop?
Hold on, let Dana finish.
Hold on, no. I feel like hold on. Let me. I gotta interrupt. I got to. Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
That's your problem. That's not mine.
I had to mute everybody.
Look,
I'm sorry.
I'll say this.
I had to mute everybody. So here's what we're gonna do. Let people finish what they're saying before you speak, because for the audience, they can't hear when people are talking over each other.
All right. So that was the end of that clip. That was an interesting clip that she chose. Too much talking over each other. And that's what I'm saying. Listen, I hate when people interrupt me. And I hate when people interrupt me when they think they know more, i.e. the guy Nico. I don't need for you to explain to me why we send Israel, the state of Israel, money. I'm not oblivious to that. We've been doing that since the 1950s. 1950s, 1960s. That's not going to stop. What in the hell does that have to do with the $130 million that the governor of Illinois gave to illegals here in America? See, the money, the billions of dollars. Let me just pull this up. Chicago has spent $299 million on the migrant crisis in 2022 alone, including $250 million since Chicago Mayor Brandon took office in May of 2023. So we have $300 million in 2022. You have another additional $215 million in 2023. The new arrivals mission data shows 90% of spending has gone to 3 vendors. Healthcare staffing, $206 million. Equitable solutions, social solutions, $45 million. That's just in Chicago and the state of Illinois. Let's go to New York. The city predicted that the crisis will cost more than $12 billion through July 2025. Without state and federal support, around $156 million has been allocated by the federal government for the ongoing migrant crisis. But the city says it's only received roughly a third of these fundings, $50 million. $12 billion for illegals who broke the law that they're going to be spending on through now until July of 2025. That don't got shit to do with Congress sending money to Israel annually. That's not going to stop. So if we still got money to send billions of dollars, if we have money to send billions of dollars to Ukraine, if we have money to send billions of dollars to Israel annually, and we could see here, we still have billions of dollars to allocate to illegals that broke the goddamn law coming here. So what I'm saying is, we found money. We pulled it out somebody's ass to house and feed and take care of illegals. That money that you pulled out of somebody's ass, which is the American people asses, should have been spent on us. Billions was still going to Israel, but billions are being spent on illegals here. So the foreign policy, which I said I don't give a fuck about, is still being funded. I'm focused on the domestic policies that we should be funded, but is being allocated to people who broke the goddamn law. So I don't give a shit about Israel. I don't. Because you have no control over them. Ukraine received $500 billion. But for some reason, though, America found money to still fund illegals because they're still printing money. And what I'm saying is, if you could still fund these fucking illegals with billions of dollars while you're still allocating damn near trillions of dollars between Ukraine and Israel, that's a problem because that money should be going to poor Americans. What is it that this panel did not understand? They could not understand that. And this is why when you do
real baby. So you should be a little bit, so I would suggest you.
And this is why when you do have immigrants, whether they came here legally or not, they don't understand and they don't appreciate American history, American culture, and American pride. But that's all right. And this is why I support Donald Trump. This is why I voted for Donald Trump. This is why I do vote. And I look at the policies that you are going to have when it comes to the immigration system. This is nothing new. Illegals have been coming here for decades. Damn near centuries. Technically, this whole country was founded on illegals. But let's just pull it back to the 21st century here. We have policies, we have laws, And if you are undermining the law, then what we are creating is anarchy. We are breaking our system, which will break this nation. I want to highlight Barbara Jordan. Let's go out of this for a second. Oh, I know what it was. I have to bring this up. It was this. I want to highlight Barbara Jordan. Guys, please hit the like button. I love you, Dana, for keeping it 100. Don't be afraid to speak. Yeah. Like, and this is this is another thing I want to say. You know, I don't really read comments. I don't really care what people think or say about me, but when you try to insult my intelligence, and this is for one of the people that commented, because honey, she put that clip up. Oh, the engagement is crazy, right? There are people, you know, having conversations, responding, leaving post comments or whatever. But then there's one person put, oh, you should have had at Nas, at Naeem, whatever, if you wanted more information. And I respond, and that was only, well, I responded to two people. That was the only person I responded to. And I'm like, we all had information. And it's, I'm like, I hate when people try to act like they know more. They weren't invited. Not saying that they don't know, they know too. But don't try and downplay my knowledge or my intellect. You know, and I had somebody in this comment section here, I'm not even sharing it, try to say to me, I don't know foreign policy. And it's like, no, because you heard me say I don't care about foreign policy, that's right, I don't care. Because it was irrelevant, had nothing to do with the illegal migrant crisis happening here. We have a whole bunch of multiple things going on in this country that sometimes is connected and sometimes it's not. But whether it's connected or not, I'm looking at show me the money, because we got money. So I want to highlight Barbara Jordan. Who is Barbara Jordan? She's passed on. Fascinating resume. But I want to play the clip when she talked about immigration, particularly illegals coming over here. Barbara Jordan wisdom is needed in today's immigration debate. And it is. But I want to play this clip first.
Got to know that we have got to know that immigration really goes to the heart of who we are as a nation. If we are confident enough as Americans in our culture, we should welcome the legal immigrant. We should be able to accommodate diversity in our society. Are we strong enough to welcome those who ought to be in and retain a commitment to the rule of law by keeping those out who shouldn't get in? If we ought to preserve our immigration tradition and our ability to say yes to the people who want to get in and seek entry, we've got to have the strength to say no to the people who are not supposed to get in. We need to make deportation a part of a credible immigration policy. As a nation committed to immigrants and the rule of law,
I can tell you.
we've got to do that balancing act. The most urgent immigration problem we face today is the unauthorized entry of hundreds of thousands of illegals. That undermines our commitment to legal immigration. Although the illegal alien may be generally law-abiding, and particularly in good economic times, maybe we need the illegals, their entry in violation of the law is a violation of our national interest. We believe a credible approach to immigration must be comprehensive. First, border management. We support a very simple view about border management: prevent illegal entries, facilitate legal ones. The second part of our strategy: work site enforcement. Employment, we believe, continues to be the principal magnet for illegal aliens coming into the country. As long as U.S. businesses benefit from illegals on their workforce, they are not going to try to help us get on top of the problem. We believe that employer sanctions must be made to work, and enhanced labor standards enforcement essential components of a strategy to reduce the job magnet. The third part of our recommendations: immigrant eligibility for public benefits. That's a major one. The Commission believes that decisions about eligibility should support the objectives of immigration policy. Using these objectives as a measure of benefit policy, we come to the following conclusions. First, legal permanent residents should continue to be eligible for needs-tested assistance programs. Our views on eligibility for benefits of illegal aliens are different from those benefits that are recommended for legal aliens. If an alien is in this country lawfully, he should receive whatever benefits a lawful resident receives. But if a person is here unlawfully, he should be entitled to no benefits. No benefits. Why the distinction between the eligibility of legal aliens and illegals? Illegal aliens don't have the right to be here. They broke the law to get here. They never intended to become a part of our social community, and they are not entitled to benefits. They have no intention to integrate.
I 1,000 support and agree what she said. And this was, I think this was in the 80s. We don't have, see, there was a time where we actually had, you know, good or bad, racist or not, Congress, politicians in Congress during that time, they actually were fighting for policies to uphold our Constitution and our laws, especially the Black politicians. Where's the Barbara Jordans of today? Because Jasmine Crockett ain't one of them. Barbara Jordan represented Texas. See, I'm just playing this one clip today because I'm actually been up here an hour and I don't want to go over an hour. And I started off talking about Kamala Harris and her VP talk. Well, where are the Barbara Jordans of today? She's talking about the law. She's talking about immigration policy. This is a U.S. Commission on Immigration. She's absolutely right. If you and I said that even on a panel. Listen, we already have DACA. We have, HB visas. People who really are asylum seekers. And then I said people who are been waiting for their citizenships, been waiting for their green cards. residency. They came here the right way, filled out the paperwork. They came here the legal way. And our immigration system, I would say from this time until today, is a mess. And I think it was to be a mess intentionally disorganized. Because why does it take so long for someone? Why does it take 20 years for someone to become a citizen? Right? Put that aside. But she's absolutely right. If you come here legally and you are a legal resident, or if you are a green card holder, you should be entitled to the resources that this country offers. But if you come here illegally, you should not be entitled to no resources. You should be detained. You should be deported. She spoke directly to policy and law. So you mean to tell me this administration is following the law, is following policy? Absolutely not. They're breaking the law when they're the ones who are supposed to be upholding it. So I don't give a goddamn about the money we send to Israel, the money we send to Ukraine, because we've been sending billions and trillions of dollars to foreign countries. But how dare you, this American government, print money and allocate money and resources to damn it illegals that break the law to get here. And you're not even vetting these people. They are breaking, damn near broke the immigration system, a system that was already in shambles, a system that was already disorganized. And they're damn sure about to break this country because 10 million, over 10 million, and they're coming. They continue to come. So this policy that the Biden administration just implemented recently expired to where they closed the border, but now they uplifted the border. You've been in the White House for damn near 3 years, going on 4 years. This is technically the 4th year. And you allow millions and millions and millions of illegals across that border. You're not even vetting them. We don't know why they're here. We don't know what they're carrying. We don't know what their intentions are. But you're housing, you're feeding them, you're giving them work permits. You want them to be able to vote. And you mean to tell me that you want me to support someone like Kamala Harris, a failed VP, a failed border czar? And you mean to tell me that I should be focused on the money we send into Israel? Because if we stop sending money into Israel, then that's going to solve our border crisis? Come on. You sound delusional. Yeah, they popping babies like popcorn. It's not a reason for asylum, right? So listen, this whole system is broken and it's intentional. It's intentional. It is broken intentional. Somebody's benefiting and it ain't us. But what are we going to do? Who is going to advocate for us? We have to advocate for ourselves, the American citizens, because they're not going to do it. They don't want to do it. They want the system to be broken. They want chaos because that's how the elites profit. I'm a trucker. I believe my company lost their account due to illegals undercutting race. Yes. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It affects small businesses. It affects us regular folk. Like it's the things that we don't see and we don't read. That everyday people like Pop here. I'm a trucker. I believe my company lost their account due to illegals undercutting race. Yes. Mind you, because a corporation is considered a person under the 14th Amendment. They have the same amount of equal rights as we do human beings. But a corporation has more money. They have more political power. And that's why they are able to monopolize in different industries, leaving us to fight over the scraps. And then you have these illegals coming in, is undercutting our business. It's undercutting our livelihood. It's undercutting our jobs, our wages. But I'm supposed to focus on Israel. Now, listen, yes, it should be a ceasefire in Gaza. I support the Gaza people, the innocent Palestinians. But I got to focus on what is happening in my backyard, in my house. I'm starving. I'm starving. I need to eat. I need to feed my family. I need a livable wage. Right. There are way more than 10 million. They were saying it's a lot. Yeah. 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 All right, guys, listen. Good morning. It's still morning time. It's 11 a.m. I'm going to keep this up, honey. So I will be live. And if I'm not live, you will see a premiere video. But I will be back here live 10 a.m. And I may surprise y'all one day and come up here at 9, honey. I'm going to keep this up. It is about consistency. I was surprised that I got like 140 people in here. I think it got up to 145 this morning. That's good. That's good, honey. And I know if I keep this up, the viewership numbers will increase. And I have not once promoted, hit the super chat, Cash App or whatever. But yes, you see my Cash App, $ Dina with the data. I take coffee donations, yes. Lunch sandwich money, lunch money, all that. Yeah. But I'm going to keep this up. Now, Monday and Friday, it's a 10 a.m. class. So if I'm up early, so my goal is to get up early. I could come on here. Well, Mondays, I may not even be, I'm not going to do a show here on Mondays because it's Monday. But like Friday, if it's at 10 a.m., I'll do it after the class or before my class. But I mean, I'm gonna stick to this morning routine on this YouTube channel, The Real Judge Joe Brown. We will be back. And we will be back with the Man Up Show soon. Not this week, most likely next week, but we will be back soon. The judge may do X Space tonight. I don't know. I have to call him and see if he feel like doing it. But anyway, guys, please like this video. Share the video. If you want to support, please do. You can send me a Cash App or you can support via Super Chats. And of course, subscribe to The Real Dana, but I think most of you are. But I want to build out this channel as well. I want to get to 10K here and then 20K, then 30K. But let's just focus on getting to 10K. So share, like, and comment below. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye.